All right. Do you got to take a poop before we start?
No,
Okay.
I took a poop and a pee before I started.
Okay. Oh, check.
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 All right. Give me a little sound bite.
Hello, Elijah.
Oh my god.
How are you?
Do that again. Is that how you sound?
That's polyphonic. I can speak in two voices at the same time.
That was creepy as hell.
You didn't know I was polyphonic?
No.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Hi. How are you?
That is creepy. Don't do that. Well,
Would you like some African food? I can't do it when I'm laughing. It takes a lot of oxygen.
that is weird as hell. I thought that was my computer.
No, that's me.
Okay. Jesus Christ.
Hi, my name is Kelly Lynn McCormack. I used to be in bands back in the dark ages, in the 1900s and in the early 2000s. Some of those bands were Writer's Syndrome, Grit's Communication, and the Pink Slips. And I'm here with Elijah Kirby.
And I played bass in the Pink Slips.
Yes, you did.
I got to be in a girl band.
Yes, you did. We called ourselves a girl band even though you were in it.
I didn't mind.
Yeah.
That was fun.
It was fun. It was fun. Good times.
All right. Thanks for coming on to my podcast called My First Car.
Yeah, it's very appropriate.
It is. So what was your first car?
It was a 1964 Corvette convertible that was gold with tan interior.
See if you don't think this is the most exciting car in America today. Know what makes this car so exciting besides its obvious style? It's the Corvette's not-so-obvious engineering. The things you feel but don't see.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was my dad's car that he sold so he could buy a house. I've never had a car, which you know very well. So,
But I still wanted you on here.
Yes,
so
you did.
Thank you.
Kitty, don't lick the power strip. Good kitty. She's gonna electrocute herself.
Yeah.
I was always into music. I was in choirs when I was a kid, but I was always one of those weird kids that nobody liked that would go around singing and making up random weird songs about My Little Ponies and stuff like that in elementary school. And the first song I made up was something about the child of glass, so easy to break, or something like that. It was really pathetic and sad. It was depressing, but I was writing or singing and making up songs since I can remember. And I was always in, I said, choirs, but and then I got into the music scene by by a sad instance, because I was rejected from being in choir by a music teacher who concert choir. She wouldn't let me be in concert choir because I was on crutches, and she said I tried out for concert choir and I did all the stuff and I did the singing and everything like that. And then she brought me into her office and she was really sweet, and she's like, "Now, Kelly, now here's the thing. We don't want to ruin the concert choir for everyone else, do we?"
Ooh.
And I was just no. And I was really naive and shy, and I was totally just a doormat.
Yeah.
And she said that I would be ruining it for the rest of the choir because I would stick out on stage and ruin the look of everything with my crutches standing out. And I didn't realize this, but during regular choir that I had during school, which she couldn't force me out of, in concert, even though I was in front, like during school when we would practice, she would hide me on the bleachers behind like the first group of people and have like these girls hold me without my crutches sometimes.
Oh wow, what the hell?
And she did it to hide me. Like,
Yeah.
well, not without my crutches. I'm sorry, that was one time she did that and that didn't work out. But it was a really bad idea. No, but she had tried to hide me during regular concert, and it was like really cumbersome, and like you couldn't see me because I wasn't as tall as the other girls. But like basically, she said that like it wasn't fair to the other parents and to the other students because it would ruin the look of like the show and draw attention away from like all the good work that everyone was doing. And she just kind of led me out of the office like, okay, so that's all, we're gonna like, like, thanks for understanding. And I was out of the choir, like, like, no. And I was heartbroken, and I didn't realize that being on crutches apparently like was an eyesore to other people. And so like I began to be ashamed of myself, and I stopped. I was like in a regular choir still, but I didn't have an outlet for music anymore because I was always in concert choir. I was always doing solos. I was just always doing that crap. And then I met like people like Andrea Brentrup and her friend Kylie and Brian Lundeen and his friend Nick, who I can't remember the last name of. And they knew that I was into music, and I had bought myself a guitar and that I was writing my own songs. And they were like, we have a band that we're starting. It's called Screaming Butterflies, but you can't tell anyone about it because we're so underground that if you tell anyone about the band, we have to break up.
That's so punk rock of them.
I know it was. And like all the songs, like basically like I had to like scream, and like all of them had screaming and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that was my first experience like with like being in a band. Is like I was told, like especially by Kylie, like, do not tell anyone, Kelly. Do not tell anyone. And she had this big pentagram on her abdomen and tattoo.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And when she was pregnant, I bet it looked horrible.
Oh my God.
Just like imagine this baby growing inside of her and then just this big pentagram over it. I was just like, that child is going to come out and be like, what's that? Like Damien or something like that.
Spawn of Satan.
No offense, Kylie, if you're out there. I doubt you're going to listen to this. But, it was an awesome tattoo, but still it scared me. But, yeah. So that was my first, but the band never did anything. We basically just
Well, it was so secretive, how could you?
I know,
Yeah.
because we couldn't tell anyone about it, otherwise we weren't punk enough.
Yeah.
So, and then we had to have 3 chords and no more than that, because otherwise we weren't punk and stuff like that. They gave me the rules of being punk, and I was like very confused by them.
Oh,
right.
right.
Yeah, because there's apparently rules to punk.
Yes, of course. There's a handbook.
Yeah, well, not Andrea. Andrea was like just goofy and funny, but Brian and Nick were really cool. They were like these older guys who weren't creepy at all, weren't skeeves, who were trying to like, hit on us younger girls. They were just like into giving like younger bands or people a place to practice. And
Cool.
And they even showed us like some stuff on guitars and stuff like that, and helped us figure stuff up on bass. And excuse me, I'm drinking iced coffee and I'm hiccuping.
I'm going to grab my Gatorade.
Okay. That was my first band experience. I have not walked for maybe 32 or 33 years. I was born with a tumor that had body parts in it.
Cool.
It was right on the base of my spine, and when they removed it, it weakened me. And I walked until I was about 13, and then it started to get harder and harder for me to walk, and I kept on having accidents, like sliding into. I remember I was playing softball at school, and I slid into like some sort of like concrete bench, and I really hurt my hip really bad. And I had other accidents too that were making my hip worse. And by the time I was 12, it was time for surgery. But then, like a few days after I turned 13, I had the surgery, but it did not go as planned, and the doctor didn't really tell me because he kept on having me come back to Minnesota for like 8 years. And the first year I was like in a wheelchair in middle school. And then I don't remember exactly how long. I'm so bad with years and stuff like that, as you can tell. I'm like, I don't know, the first year of middle school. Anyways, he kept on having me come back for like 8 or 7 years to the University of Minnesota to check my hip to see if it was ready yet, like it was a fine wine or something.
Yeah, sure.
And he's like, your hip's not ready yet. He wasn't Italian, or he didn't have some weird accent. I'm just saying, like, your hip's not ready yet. It's like it's a fine wine, but it needs more time, okay? But no, it wasn't like a fine wine. It didn't need more time to age. He had cut a nerve, and he didn't have the balls.
Oh wow.
He didn't have the balls to tell me.
He fucked up, so he was just
He was
crossing his fingers. Everything would be okay.
He was waiting to go past the statute of limitations, so I couldn't sue him. But, yeah. One day, like, I went in there the last time I went to him, I was mad at my parents, or my mom, who was supposed to go with me, and I went to myself, and because I thought my parents didn't know how to talk to him, and because they would be like, okay, all right, well, we'll go now. And I was just like, no, we need to talk to this doctor. And I was like, no, we need to listen to him, Kelly. My mom would be like that, I should say. And I was like, oh, I'm going to talk to him like how we should talk to him, because we're not getting enough information. And my mom's just like, well, you're going to be an adult about it. You go talk to him yourself. And that's when he told me. I walked in, and I was just like, well, first of all, I was like, such a smart ass, like, that doesn't even look like a hip. How is it supposed to work like one? And he just didn't even look at me the whole time. And he just said, you don't have to bother coming back here because you're never going to walk again. Like, maybe I cut a nerve, maybe I didn't, but you're not going to walk again, so don't bother scheduling. And then he just left.
Well, that's some shit.
Yeah. But so I stayed on crutches until quite recently. I'm in a wheelchair now, trying to get back on crutches. Yeah, it broke my heart.
Yeah.
But I went into like a depression for a long time, and my friends didn't really understand it, and you wouldn't expect them to, because they were just teenagers, They were just into getting like drunk or stoned, or had their own stuff to deal with, and they were teenagers. They didn't have the coping mechanisms to deal with me and my stuff. But I put a lot of it into music.
Yeah.
And I really, really needed that in my life. And the punk scene really helped me cope with all the stuff that the medical and emotional stuff I went through.
Yeah.
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 So that's all my word vomit about that. The first band was Writer's Syndrome, and the way it started was, who is she? One of my friends, like, annoyed her boyfriend, John Keanu, to be in a band with me. Otherwise, I think she said she was, I could be wrong, but I think she was going to deny him sex. And then her brother was also going to join it, Nick Keanu.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if they necessarily wanted to be in a band with me, but like they were, and that was like my first real band that left the basement. And we performed a lot of my like first, because she told them like Lauren Raveling was her name, and she told them about the songs that I played like in my bedroom, and she really, I think she liked them, and she thought that she's a purebred feminist, and she's like, this woman needs like to be heard.
That's awesome.
And
I had John on here.
Yeah. You did?
Yeah.
Cool. I gotta check it out. I've never listened to one podcast ever.
That's okay.
No, I gotta listen to it.
Yeah.
You're my friend. If I'm gonna listen to one first podcast, it's gonna be yours.
Yes, thank you.
So we started a band together, and it was really awkward at first because my stuff was so simple in comparison to what was their band again?
Drablos?
Devil's Disciples, and then there's me.
Sure, yeah.
Like stuff that was like as simple as lullabies, you know?
Yeah.
But that's how I started to learn. I learned by looking at record covers from my dad's old 1950 albums, but some of the pictures were reversed. So I was doing the chords in reverse. I'm like, that sounds fine. But I didn't have any training for years, so I basically just kind of sounded out what I heard in my head and made up my own songs. And so my stuff was like completely untrained compared to their like, you know, classically trained.
Classically, yeah.
And yeah, so it was a clash, but they worked with me and we played songs. And I remember Nick sometimes would be like, this song's so simple I could play it in my sleep, Kelly. I'm like, thanks. But he was smiling when he said it, so I was like, he could be goofy and be like, just kind of say stuff just to kind of like make me laugh. But I would just be like, I don't know if that's gonna make me laugh or cry, Nick. So but they gave me a chance, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
And I wish we could have done more. And we didn't really break up. I think like I don't remember what happened. I think that just all of us, we all got busy with other stuff I think I got busy with miscommunication. So that happened because was it Nick's girlfriend, Lonnie Dvorak, was like, we're going to start a girl band. And she got her friend Crystal Stockert, who she knew played guitar, to be in a band with us. And then they knew Josh Nordwall was a drummer. And of course, they wanted to start a girl band, but there would be one guy in it.
Yeah.
And we started that band. And so I can't remember the names of my own bands. Writer's Syndrome. Kind of faded away, and miscommunication started. It was mostly recycled songs from like Writer's Syndrome that were like updated with the second guitar part from Crystal. Mm-hmm. And some other new songs that were a little bit more complicated that I hadn't shown them, that were a little bit more, I don't know, emotional, that I didn't show John and Nick. That I felt embarrassed showing them.
Sure.
Like showing my heart, just my bleeding heart.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So what are some other influences at this time, musically?
At this time, other than Bikini Kill and Bratmobile, obviously, because like Brian Lundeen gave me and my best friend Westcott like a Bikini Kill Bratmobile like tape, and well, actually he didn't. We stole it from his car. I'm sorry, he didn't give it to us. It just kind of disappeared from his car when he was playing it. Slant Six, I really liked the Breeders so much. I loved the Breeders with all my heart. I liked the Murmurs. I liked Hole, even though I still have like my issues with Courtney.
Yeah,
I'm always
I think everybody does.
Yeah,
But that album, Live Through This, is pretty dope.
It's amazing. I can't. There's no way you can deny it. It's a great album.
Yeah.
Babes in Toyland, definitely.
Oh yeah.
And Nirvana. When my family was gone, I used to be tired of like having a sweet voice from like being in choir, and I wanted to know like how like all the guys in Drevlos and all those other people screamed, and Chris Connolly and Kurt Cobain screamed.
Yeah.
So I would sit in the basement and I would play all these bands that had screams. And when my family was gone, I would scream along with them. Like I would lay on the floor and practice screaming. And I remember one day I was doing Cat Bjelland's Scream, and my friend Sarah happened to drop by, and I was upstairs like just and I opened the door and was like, "Hey, Sarah," and she was just terrified. And she
Thought
just
you were getting murdered.
Oh, she looked at me like I was crazy, and I was just like, practice screaming. She's like, "Why are you doing that?" I was just like, well, all these other bands like have these awesome screams, and I'm wondering how they can do it, how they can have that range. And I'm tired of having a sweet voice. And she continued to like look at me the rest of the day, like from the side eye, just like. Because it was a really, like, Cat Bjelland's Scream is really scary, and I could do it really well. And it's like operatic.
Okay.
So, but, it's not any use to, like, copy people's screams. I just wanted to know how it was possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't want to copy their stuff. I just wanted to know how it was done.
Yeah.
That's kind of how you learn. First time I met you, though... Do you remember?
When we met?
First time you talked to me.
Gosh, I can't recall.
I was sitting at Denny's, and I think Crystal was in the bathroom, and all of a sudden you sat down at the booth, and you said you wanted to marry me.
Oh, yeah.
And I was, like, kind of weirded out.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and that's how you introduced yourself to me.
Nice. You were so punk rock, though.
Yeah, I was. I was so punk. After that, we just started talking at shows. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember, like, how miscommunication turned into the pink slips. How did that happen?
At some point, I started Sugar and Spikes. Sugar and Spikes with Josh. It must have been just that. He put all his focus in that. So you guys broke up.
I remember what happened. Certain band members thought Josh wasn't a good enough drummer. And there was a big hootenanny about, like, we need a new drummer. And they found Brooke. And
yeah.
Josh was kicked out of the band. And I was very mad about it. Because,
that's right. Yeah, he was pretty sour about that.
Yeah, and... It broke my heart because I love Josh. I really loved him. I didn't care if he like fell off the drum set sometimes or what. I was just, I guess like I was kind of loyal to him, and certain other people they wanted to go someplace though, and they thought in order to do that we needed a better drummer. Mm-hmm. Then Lonnie wasn't in the band anymore suddenly for some reason. It's weird. It seems some stuff seems like it was like just yesterday, but other stuff is just gone.
Gone. I know. That's what I was saying about like our meeting. I'm like, I know I remembered this when we talked a couple of years ago. We went over it, and now today I'm like, it's gone. Like my brain, it just doesn't work anymore.
I know. I can't even remember like things that influenced me more. I mean, I'm looking at all my CDs over there, like hoping something will like spark a memory. But,
man, I want to go through your CDs. I might have to copy something.
Not all of them are there anymore. I sold a lot of them at Discontent or whatever it was.
I gave a lot away when I started digitizing everything,
Yeah.
and now I regret it. It's so sad.
I do too. I have more in my records than I do like in my CDs. My records, like, because I never sold any of those.
Good.
Yeah.
And don't.
Don't. I won't.
I don't recall how I came into the pink slips, if I was asked or if I offered.
I
to
think
play.
you just appeared.
Yeah,
You
I
just
did that
like a
sometimes.
specter.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't know how you got in there either. I think you just kind of walked in and just like, I'm gonna play bass.
I think that's what happened. I just picked it up and we just went on with it. Do you
But-
remember recording?
I remember. I remember.
Mine?
Yeah, I remember that. It was kind of hard to forget. Why do you have you forgotten?
No, I just remember all these stories about because that was like June or July when we were there, right? It was hot as hell. It was in the summer. It was an older house. They didn't have central air.
I remember Corey didn't flush the toilet upstairs, and it was just like a bog of like poop. And he got mad at me and Crystal when I wouldn't sit on the toilet, and I flushed it. And he's like, "Who flushed the toilet?" Just like he could hear it happen.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, I'm not going to sit on that. My asshole's going to pucker. He was all into saving his water and stuff like that. But
that's funny.
He just didn't.
So you just leave if it's shit, let it sit.
And if it's piss, let it sit as well. But like it was like me and Crystal opened the toilet, and I was like, no, but it's no. But yeah, but we thought the place was haunted. I remember.
Yeah, because when we went to bed, it was super hot.
Yeah.
And I woke up middle of the night freezing, and then Brooke said the next day that she thought she saw old people. And then Crystal was right next door in or the next door room, and we kept the door open because we talked all night, and they said they were just sweating all night and never got cold. So it was just weird. And then you kept having somebody walk in the front door you were complaining about.
The door kept on opening and closing on its own volition.
Yeah.
It was like, and I thought it was air pressures, but I checked the door, and like there was no like sucking of air, like air pressure. Like maybe I like looked around to see if there was like an open window, and I couldn't find one. So I shut the door, and then it would just open again all by itself.
And you're trying to sleep on the couch, and you have to get across on your crutches. So yeah, I could imagine that would piss you off a little bit.
Well, I never slept very well. So I remember I used to take Ambien, and like, so I would like get really like, I didn't take it that night because I didn't feel comfortable because I didn't want to sleep through like craziness or something like that.
Right, yeah, you're in a different territory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I had my shoes on, and I was like ready to go, or like pole vault away from the place if I needed to, because it was just kind of uncomfortable. Weird toilets that were full of fudge and ghosts and just creepiness. And I remember Brooke saying something like in like all of a sudden in the darkness, like, "Oh my God." And just, so it was a creepy house.
Yeah.
But I remember the recording process was like, I wish we would have had more time. I remember wanting more time.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I remember you guys like, actually Corey was doing these tricks to me to make me scream louder because he said I was being too timid. So he kept on telling me that my scream didn't record, or my vocals didn't record. And then he did it on purpose because and then all of a sudden he told me, like, I was like, I was just kidding. I was lying to you. And then, like, I got really mad. I'm like, why would you do that? And I tried to, like, get through the computer room door to, like, be like, why would you lie to me? Because, like, and finally I got really mad, and that was what he was aiming for.
Right.
Because he wanted to be, like, so mad that I would, like, actually scream well. So he did that for SMC, like, the song that I never like singing anymore because I feel like I've outgrown it.
Wait, what's that song stand for?
You know what it stands for. Suck my cock. But yeah, so it's hard for me to sing it because I'm not like a kid anymore. Yeah, but everyone loves it because it's like the one hard song, and they're like, "We needed a hard song, Kelly."
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a song I wrote like when I was like 16, and it's about when I was a beard for this gay guy. It really was.
Yeah.
Like this, It's both a sad story because it's sad for him, but it was also horrible for me. Like, I was dating a gay guy and I didn't quite know it, and we just held hands and stuff like that, and we went to catechism when you're older, catechism classes, the Catholic stuff. I don't know.
Couldn't tell you.
I don't know. Whatever. It's like we went to classes together. I was there with a lot of my middle school, like, schoolmates and stuff like that. And he wasn't a popular guy. And I remember one time he told me he tried to kill himself by taking a bunch of aspirin, and he laid in front of, like, his family's front door waiting to die. And
Gosh.
And I was just kind of like, I didn't have the heart to tell him when he was telling me this. I'm like, that's not going to kill you. It's going to hurt some of your organs, but it's not going to kill you. And they got home and they looked at him and they're like, why are you laying on the floor? And he just felt so embarrassed, like, that he wanted desperately for them to, like, see his pain. And I didn't understand why he would do that. And the reason was because he was gay, and he didn't tell me that. And maybe he didn't, like, but he wanted to date. I was considered a pretty girl, but, like, I don't know, kind of like a discount bin pretty girl because I was on crutches. To some people, like, I was a discount girl, like, because I was okay looking, but I was on crutches, so it was like I was on discount. I don't know. So, like, a nerd could get me.
Sure. Okay.
I'd say that's what some guys thought. Okay.
Okay.
That's just what I'm saying.
All right.
But, like, one day I got to I don't know, is it catechism, whatever it's called. That might be the one when you're younger. I forget. I don't know this Catholic stuff. I went to it for a while, and, you know, I just didn't get it, and it didn't stick. Anyways, all of a sudden, everyone was, like, staring at me and whispering, and it turned out that he told everyone that I gave him a blowjob in the confessional.
Oh, jeez.
And he did it, and then he didn't. And I tried to talk to him, and he was with, like, these two girls, and he's like, oh my God, she's trying to talk to me. And suddenly he was popular.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and the rumors got around to my school, and there was this guy named Nathan who was such a creep. He actually got his own sister pregnant.
Oh.
Yeah. And he was after me, kind of. And he would harass me at school and other places. And there was other creepy guys, too, that heard about the rumor, and they wouldn't leave me alone.
Oh, that sucks.
And so I wrote this song called You Suck My Cock.
Yeah.
Because it was about, like, you know, like him. It was about James. And I actually confronted him, like, this last spring, and he absolutely freaked out about it because he's all Christian now. And he's like, I would never do that to another human being. And by the way, being gay is worse than anything that you've been through. And I was just like, that's not fair.
Jeez.
And I was just like, I'm not trying to play the, like disabled card or the woman card or anything like that.
Right.
Like, I'm trying, because I wanted, like, us to, like, make up and be like, I'm sorry this happened.
Yeah.
But, like, he just flipped out and just, like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But anyways, so the song Suck My Cock still stands, and he is a bastard. Yep. And a liar.
Can I play a sample of it?
Sure.
Do you have any memorable, like, car stories, since, you know, if we can tie it to a car?
I have lots of good memories of me and Crystal going off in her car and writing songs, like, with her acoustic guitar and just playing them on River Road. And we'd go, like, singing, like, to the B-52s and Bikini Kill and Slant 6 and all these mixtapes that I had made, and then pull over down in the middle of nowhere and just like play on the guitar or write stuff together. And River Road was like a big thing for us, and driving and singing together. And sometimes we'd take our practice tapes and we would take songs that were still in the rough, and we'd sing along to
that's fun.
Yeah. And sing along to like lyrics that we like were making or change them up. And some of them I wish that we still had, because some of them could have been different songs and repurposed.
Right, sure.
I still have a tape somewhere of songs that we never used. I mean, Crystal were working on, and they were such good songs.
I want to hear this. We got to dig this out.
If I find them, I'll show them to you.
Yeah.
And I have a tape of songs two songs, but only one of them is good, that need to be it's from a 4-track, and they need to be mixed down again to a tape or digitized, because I don't want them to disappear from the magnetic tape. And because I worked really hard on them when I mixed them myself.
Well, shit, let's do that.
Yeah. I feel bad because all my mini cassettes that I had from our recording sessions, like all the songs are disappeared, and I had all these recordings of Josh like talking. I do have one practice, and Josh's voice is on it, and it almost made me cry because it's so sad still to think that he's gone, and I was to wonder what he'd be like now.
I know,
and what he'd be thinking, and like if he, like how much of an activist he'd be. You know,
especially with this today's politics.
I know.
Yeah.
I wonder if he'd have a big beard.
Right.
I don't know.
How big would his earlobes be? And
Yeah.
Or would he be a suit and tie guy by now? In his 40s.
I can't
working
imagine.
a 9 to 5.
I can't imagine that. I think he'd be hardcore till the end. I mean, he was, but I wish he would have had a longer life and a different end.
Yep.
But anyways, I have a practice on tape somewhere. Well, and my stuff down there.
Sweet. Yeah. Pull those out. I've lost so many tapes over time.
Mm-hmm.
Recording band sessions and whatnot. And I tried looking back to see if I could find them. Absolutely no idea where they went or got recorded over or what happened to them.
It's sad losing that
information. It kind of is,
information.
right?
It's like losing a piece of history.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think the Romans are lucky because they have all these bits and pieces of like their history left behind, but ours was on magnetic tape and it just went blank. We should have put it in stone. I wish we would have realized how valuable our memories would have been back then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I don't remember specific things like how you appeared in our band.
Yeah, how I just morphed. Yeah.
Pew! Like someone like just added you in, like you were a cutout, and someone placed you in the band like a piece of paper, and then left you there, and then you're like, oh, we have a new member.
I guess he's here now.
Yeah.
Fun shows we had too.
Yeah, we did.
Always liked playing in Minot, and
Minot was so much fun.
Do you remember playing? I think like on a farm somewhere. We were on a
tractor trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
What was that?
It was a place called. Was it Carson?
I don't remember. I just remember the playing like in or by a barn.
A guy threatened to lynch us.
Oh.
He said to lynch.
Okay.
Literally. Yeah, like but like that was just one guy. But it was interesting. I don't know how we got the show. Was it you that got us the show?
I don't think it was, but yeah, somehow we got asked to play. Did anybody else play?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It was very weird.
I just remember we appeared there, and I remember just, I guess we're playing.
Yeah.
I remember we played in this, like, for like these kids invited us to play out like in a park, but there was no PA or power source, so we ended up doing nothing. But there was this band from New York, and I met this guy named Krusty Craig, and I shared my peanut butter sandwich with him, and Crystal was frightened of him. I remember she was like, "Don't talk to him, Kelly." But we talked for like years afterwards, and we're not in contact anymore. We kind of lost contact, but we were friends for a very long time on MySpace, and we talked on the phone for a long time. But I remember he was just from New York, and he was really crusty. He was a great guy, and he was really funny. Yeah. And his band came to play, but there's, like the rest of us, there was no way to play. So we all just parked our cars and ate. And then later on, we stayed like in a house that was, I think, abandoned or for sale, but we weren't supposed to be there. And they made us hot dogs and macaroni and cheese for dinner and vodka. And I just had the macaroni and cheese and hot dogs.
I probably had the vodka.
Yeah. And I remember there was this couch that you could see the fleas jumping off of, literally. No. And so I just slept on the floor. And I didn't get any fleas, luckily. I've never had fleas. Luckily, out of all the places we stayed at. Not that we ever really got around as much as some bands. But yeah. I remember I could see, like, there was a lamp, and I just saw...
Oh, nasty.
Yeah, and I was like, no, I'm not going to lay there. So one of my favorite shows is always going to be playing with Tight Bros and C Average. That was so much fun.
Yeah, where was that?
That was at the Liberty.
Okay. That was so cool.
They were really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Really nice. Really nice people. And I shocked Crystal, like, I always had a habit of wandering off because I was nervous and like either hanging out by a bathroom or going off by myself somewhere. And I went to the back of the Liberty, and I was standing on this wooden board that was just outside and around the corner from the door. And I was like balancing on it because I shouldn't have been on it because I could have fallen over. But Brad and John from C Average were talking by a van, and Crystal came out and in her, like sing-song voice said, "What are you doing, Kelly?" And I just said, "Oh, I gave that guy a blowjob." and I looked and I nodded my head towards John, and she said she was great. And he just went along with it, just perfect comic timing. And she went, "Oh." And she just looked at me like in shock, and I still to this day wonder if she believes me, like like I'd actually do that, just like if she knew me well enough to that I would actually do that to a stranger, because like that's so me, That it was such a great show, and I still couldn't believe that we were playing with like guys that were from K Records.
Yeah.
Not K Records, Kill Rock Stars, sorry.
Oh, right, yeah.
I get all them mixed up.
I kind of do too.
Yeah, I loved seeing the need. Seeing the need was so much fun.
That was so much fun. That's so weird too. It
was so weird. I thought I knew what gay was. I did not. I did not know what gay was until I saw the need. And the need after the show. Like that cemented like a whole new version of gay that I didn't know existed.
Anyways, yeah, I'm kind of a shitty host. I don't really...
You are terrible.
I know, but I don't really care as well, so kind of works out. Pink Slips, one of my favorite bands that I've played with, mainly because your songs were so awesome. I love your writing style was very unique, different. I like
because I didn't know what I was doing.
I know, that's what I loved about it. You weren't classically trained like them Keanu boys.
I wasn't classically trained, no way. I did take some lessons to try to correct some of like my malfunctions, like from Chris Kitko, but it didn't help very much. I mostly like learned how to play like some other people's songs to a certain degree, but I still always went back to deciding I didn't want to play other people's songs. I wanted to play my own.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I wanted to play guitar. I didn't want to play other people's songs. I wanted to play my own. So other people, like, when they start, they get frustrated because they can't play other people's stuff. That hadn't happened with me. So I think that was something that really, like, helped keep me going, is I didn't care that I couldn't play Oasis.
Yeah.
I was fine trying to figure out my own stuff. Because, that's something frustrating when you pick up a guitar and you can't play something.
Yeah.
Someone else's song, and you, like, just get mad at yourself. But because that's what other people tell me. They're like, I keep on trying to play this song. I'm like, make up your own.
Yeah.
And then you'll be fine, because you won't be disappointed, because you're making your own stuff. 3 chords. You don't need to, it doesn't have to be some punk formula, but 3 chords is all you need, and you can make something of your own.
Yeah, we never really released much out of the Pink Slips. We recorded,
Yeah.
but only 4 tracks got released on a little vinyl.
Yeah.
That's something we should still try to put out sometime. I know we've talked about it before, but is it too late?
I don't know. I still hope for putting stuff out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or would you be open for recording again?
I'd still be open for recording, and I still sing, and I'm just trying to learn how to, like, get my dexterity back with my guitar. But I still sing and make up songs like I've always done, like, in my head, and try to keep them locked away, not forget them, so I can keep them for playing guitar to them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't want to give up music. I never want to.
Well, yeah, count me in.
You got it.
Got it, dude.
Got it. I got a song about Josh, of course, that I never got to record, that me and Crystal were working on.
Oh, well, shit. Let's get to that, too.
I showed it to you before, and you said it was gold.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you said it fucking gold. Everything you write is gold. And that was the nicest compliment anyone's ever given me about my songs.
And I'm not a liar.
Oh, you're not a liar at all.
I'm not. I might be a piece of shit sometimes. But I am not a liar.
Okay. I loved the scene. We had such an interesting scene. Like, it was very welcoming, I find. Especially in Minot.
It really was, yeah. Everybody was... It didn't matter what your genre was.
Yeah.
Everybody was happy to just hear live music.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the reasons that it was so therapeutic for me. I used to, like I said, I was really depressed when I wasn't able to be in choir anymore, but I came into, like, this place where everyone was, like, pretty much welcome.
And we were all depressed.
All depressed
and angry.
And messed up in our own way, but at the same time, like... We had so much fun together.
Yeah.
And we made all these things happen and made our music, and we worked like this organism that... We were like an organism that, like, made itself.
Mm-hmm.
And we created new things together, and I was really appreciative of that. And I never, like, wanted to be, like, at the front of something. I wanted just to be a part of something. I wanted to be a part of a machine that made music or made people happy, because I never wanted anyone to be as miserable as me. I wanted to look down from the stage, and I remember in Minot sometimes I'd look down from the stage while I was, like, playing or singing, and there would be kids dancing, and they would just be lost in it.
Yeah.
Lost, and that brought me so much happiness. And I couldn't believe that something that we made, like, could make people do that.
Yeah.
And I want more of that. I want more.
Yeah,
I'm always going to want more of that,
Yeah.
It's a good feeling to make people happy.
Yeah. Let's see if we can do that again.
That'd be wonderful. I'm still glad that, like, the punk scene changed my life, and it saved it, probably. It gave me a family that I didn't have at home. No offense, family.
Too late now. I would have turned off your air machine here. I didn't really think about that at the time.
Oh.
Getting that background like shh. But that's okay.
Okay.